Dive into the bizarre and terrifying world of underwater creatures. We're still only scratching the surface of our oceans, discovering new specimens every year. The Gulper Eel, also known as the pelican eel, respectfully given its name due to the fact that its horrid appearance resembles that of a pelican. This type of eel is one of the many others that scientists don't have enough information about, making them all the more mysterious and disturbing. The gulperfish is hardly ever seen. They are considered deep-sea fish, but could also be found around the midwaters and prefer temperate and tropical oceans. They glow in the dark, giving off a pink or red flashing bioluminescence that comes from their tail, luring in curious prey. Majority of deep-sea creatures cannot see the color red, so for a somewhat deep-sea creature to produce such a color is a mystery in itself. The gulper eel's mouth alone takes up 1/3 of its entire body, giving it the extremely weird shape of an uncanny large head with a tiny slender body. They're not born like this though, and in fact when they're young they almost look like regular eels. It isn't until they reach fish puberty that they start to develop their disgustingly unhinged appearance and pursue comfort in the deep ocean depths. I also forgot to mention, their eyes can also glow red, which makes researchers wonder if eels are one of the few animals that can see the color red, and that their bioluminescence is used to communicate with other eels. Continuing on with eels, we have the very eerie looking snipe eel, another deep sea fish that scientists still don't know too much about. It was given the name snipe after its weird mouth shape resembled the appearance of a snipe bird. Whenever it would open its mouth, the tips of its lower and upper jaw will curl slightly outwards. There are 9 different species of these slinky little guys, and depending on which one, some of the adult eels can grow up to about 79 inches long. Thankfully though, they will not go after people and instead choose to snack on smaller crustaceans that are related to the shrimp family. Researchers, however, based on other characteristics, believe they have the capability to go after small fish and cephalopods, like squid and octopuses. Interesting fact about them, they are the only species on Earth that hold the most vertebrae, 750 on average. All the resources that they gather go towards their very hypnotizing looking eyes, making it easier for them to see when predators or prey may be lurking around in the dimly lit area. They always swim with their mouths slightly open in hopes that some poor shrimp will accidentally find itself locked in its backwards pointing teeth, rendering them completely helpless in its grasps. There was a new sea bug that was discovered earlier this year, the Darth Vader sea bug, or scientifically known as Bathynomos videri, a new species of isopod making a striking appearance. It was given this cool sci-fi name not only that it looks like it's straight out of a horror movie, but rather its head resembles Darth Vader's helmet. Researchers took its measurements and discovered this one being 12 inches long and weighing only 2 pounds. Majority of isopods can fit into the palms of your hand, but this specific family of isopods can grow as large as 20 inches. Giant isopods in general can be found in the deep waters of the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. With the help of their exoskeleton, whenever they feel threatened by predators, the majority of them can roll up into a ball, kind of like an armadillo. Their diet, however, is a little creepy. They're considered carnivores and scavengers, so if they happen to come across a whale, fish, or any other marine life that had passed on, it's free reign for them. Surprisingly, they themselves have become an expensive and very sought out seafood dish, making it a threat to their population. Would you be brave enough to eat this thing? The very mysterious unicorn fish, a new species discovered in Chinese caves back in 2023. The location of the discovery, which was just as intriguing, was a dark pool with little to no light whatsoever. It didn't help the fact that their eyes are so incredibly tiny, having researchers speculate that they probably cannot see anything at all. Usually with creatures living in dark waters, their eyes are big, which allows them to bring in more light to see what's around them. So this is very strange. Not only that, they don't have any scales, and they're pretty much colorless. The families of fish overall within this species is remarkable, because only some possess this weird horn-like shape, and some lose their eyes or eyesight altogether. They go through what's known as regressive evolution, where a species will lose certain parts of their body. It's not necessarily going backwards in evolution, but rather it's just getting rid of certain things that serve no purpose to their environment. Like how we still have tailbones, but we're never again going to have actual tails. Scientists still have no idea what the purpose of their horn is because it doesn't really help them sense their surroundings. They dubbed this next creature the flying spaghetti monster, but to me it kind of looks like an early 2000s pom-pom. This festive looking sea monster was discovered off the coast of Chile back in September of 2024, 655 meters below the surface, giving off a fantastic performance of waving its little milky white arms around. It's actually a new crazy looking species of the siphonophore family. It is made out of colonial organisms known as zooids. It may look like one creature altogether, but zooids are kind of their own individual, but all genetically connected, and serve their own purpose in the clump. Some focus on movement, while others focus on eating. When siphonophores are made, they start off as a single zooid, and over time they begin to multiply. There are also carnivores though, latching onto any prey that might find itself caught in its silly little white arms. It can be copepods, small crustaceans, or any small fish. Kind of like a snowflake, there aren't any siphonophores that are exactly the same in appearance. They're all slightly different in some way or another. They are extremely bizarre but cool looking creatures. A new dangerous sponge was discovered in the Pacific Ocean. No, they don't have powerful jaws or rows upon rows of teeth, but apparently they are very hungry and quite the predators. These 4 new species of carnivorous sponges were found off the west coast of North America. Majority of these sea sponges are filter feeders, and they use these cells called choanocytes. These specific cells help the sponges pull in nearby bacteria and single-celled prey by waving these cells around. These new sponges, however, don't have that. Well, they do, but they don't prefer to use it. Using choanocytes takes up too much energy, and especially when you're in the deep sea where food is very scarce, you gotta evolve into something else. Now, they have little hooks that grab onto proper filling meals such as crustaceans. Only within a few hours, the prey is completely gone, leaving nothing more but their shell behind. They will scour the deep sea for anything or anyone that comes across their path. The Viperfish, another terrifying deep sea fish. Right off the bat, people are surprised by their large mouths with needle-like teeth and elongated bodies. You can usually only find them at 5,000 feet below the water's surface, using their remarkable hunting strategies to go after other deep-sea fish. Much like other deep-sea creatures, they rely on a bioluminescent organ that shines a light along its slender body, making it appear much smaller and worm-like to attract fish to their doom. Thanks to the help of their terrifying mouths, they are able to consume marine life that are much larger than them, allowing them to take in as much nutrients as possible in a very food-scarce location. Their unhinged jaw is what permits them to take on such big fish, giving them the flexibility needed to get them down their gullets, alongside having lightning speed when they strike. You sadly will also not find them in aquariums. Their needs are very specific and they can only be found within deep sea environments. From what researchers know, they are not a threat to humans, but I also don't imagine you'll be traveling 5,000 meters below the surface anyway. The Bigfin Squid, also known as the Magna Pina. I'm sure you've seen this monstrosity around the internet, but do you actually know anything about them? Don't worry, because scientists don't know too much about them either. Does that help? Within the years since its first discovery in the early 1900s, there were only 20 sightings ever recorded about these things. The largest one that was ever spotted was 20 feet long, but scientists have theorized that they can get even longer if given the time. They're very, very, very deep sea creatures. The deepest living squid that's known right now, finding its home 6,000 meters below the surface. Squids that we're used to have 8 arms with 2 tentacles that are quite chunky in appearance, but the Bigfin Squid has 10 arms and tentacles that hang down below them like a net. It makes sense though. In an area with very little food, you gotta have something hanging around in preparation to catch something. They also seem to swim/float at a very odd angle, which gives researchers the idea that they do this so that their arms don't get all jumbled together. I wish I could tell you more about these things, but they're still quite the mystery. What deep sea creature is your favorite? Let me know down below and I'll be sure to talk about it in the next video. See ya!